Welcome everybody. We're going to do a 15-minute session for your core, but we're going to avoid doing any curl ups. So if you have any neck dodginess or grumpiness, this would be a really good one for you to do. Let's start seated. Now I have a block. You can use a cushion or you can just sit without any support at all, but sometimes it might help with your lower back if you have a little bit of something to sit on. So I'm going to sit to the front of the block. Legs can be crossed. Now they can be bent either, so it's personal preference, whichever you prefer to do. I'm going to start with mine crossed anyway, and we'll start with bringing one arm out to the side. So we'll just get a little bit of mobility through the spine first of all before we get moving. So you're going to reach an arm out to the side, and as you do, follow your hand, look at your hand, and reach right up and over. And as you do, you're trying to make sure that the pelvis stays down on the opposite side. So your sitting bones, that they both stay down. I'm going to go to the other side. So you're reaching your arm up and over. And as you reach the arm over, you're not losing the contact of your pelvis on whatever surface you're sitting on. Reach over. So you should feel a really nice stretch coming into the side ribs here. And return again. And we'll go again with that. So following your arm, reaching up and over. And you can stay for breath in here. On your out breath, come a little bit further into that. And we'll switch again. So reaching the arm out, up and over, and just getting that really nice stretch through the bottom ribs all the way down towards the pelvis, coming into your lower back as well. Return out of that. So I'm going to keep my legs crossed. Let's take an arm, reach it to your opposite leg. So we're going to keep really tall in your body here. So lift up tall, breathe in, and as you breathe out, take your hand to press onto your leg to get a little bit of a turn here. So you're keeping stacked. Avoid trying to kind of slouch down into this. Stay tall. And again, breathe in and turn in your out breath again. So just getting some rotational movement into your spine. Come back to your center. We'll go the opposite way. So hand on the opposite leg. We're lifting tall and we're turning. So stay for a breath in here and turn in your out breath. And come all the way back to your center. So I'm going to change my leg position to where they're bent. So just to get a little bit of flexion through your spine, a little bit of a bend. Take your chin to your chest. Hands are going to slide down your shins. And again, you're keeping the pelvis anchored down. So reaching forwards. And we'll hold here. And we'll come all the way up. And now we'll take your hands behind your body. We'll think of lifting up through your chest. So push your fingertips down, or the palms of your hands if they're there. Roll the shoulder blades back, opening the collarbone at the front. You can let your chin nod down here towards your chest. We're getting some extension into your back. And now again, so hands are going to come down to your shins, slide them down, and just wherever they end up, they end up. Don't be forcing any movement. Just keep everything within your range. And we'll come back up and we'll go again with the hands behind, getting an oppositional movement, letting the chest lift, shoulder blades are pulling back, broad through your collarbone. Let your chin come down. And now we'll come back forwards again. Hands are going to come to your shins and they're going to stay in good contact with your shins. So from here, we're going to actually slouch down, all right? So we're going to get another bit of flexion or bending into your back. So let your chest drop, let your pelvis tuck under, but your hands are going to stay on your shins here. So we're going to round back. And what you should feel is a little bit of more of a stretch coming into your back. Lift up tall here again. And let's work in an out breath. So chest drops, pelvis tucks, and your hands are staying in contact with the shins. So it can be tempting to kind of slide your hands up closer to your knees. We're not going to do that. Lift up tall. And we'll go one more. So tuck under, chest drops down. Again, getting a little bit of a bend. And now we're going to keep our shape. You're going to take your hand position now behind your knees. So you have a little bit more wiggle room with your movement here. So hands under your knees at the back, and you're going to roll back a little bit further. Now let your pelvis lead the movement. So your pubic bone at the front of your pelvis is rolling up in the direction of your chin. So again, you're looking to feel that the lower back is bending here. So we'll hold that. And now using your hands to bring your body forwards and lift up tall again. So we're just increasing the range just ever so slightly. So getting the slouch, the drop down with your chest, getting the tuck under, rolling back. So when you're back here, check where your shoulders are. So if you find that they're wrapped up around your ears, just let them drop down, holding your shape. And now with your elbows, pull them in and lift tall here again. So let's roll back again. Pelvis tucks, chest drops, roll back. So now what you can do here is you can keep your hands on your legs if you want to. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can take your hands off your legs and reach them forward. So we're sending the fingertips forwards to get an extra little bit of a bend in your back. But now what we'll do is we'll tuck the pelvis under a little tiny bit more. We're not rolling any more backwards in space. We're staying where we are. We're just moving our body so that we can get abdominals to work here. So reaching forwards. And now you have the option to keep your hands up or take them back to your legs to bring yourselves forwards again. And we'll go again with that. So tucking under, rolling back. So hands can stay on the legs here, or if you prefer to reach them forwards for an extra little bit of a challenge, you can do that. So reach the hands forwards, hold it. And now I'm going to keep my hands lifted. You can return them to your legs if you want. So arms and ears are now in line with each other. And again, we're getting that forward reach. So breathe in again and roll back as you breathe out. So reaching the fingers forwards, holding it here, and now return again. Let's go for 5 more. So roll back, sending the fingers forward. So you're going nice and slowly with this, and return. We'll go 4 more. So breathing out as you roll back, and reaching forwards with the fingers, and return. 3 more. Again, keeping that bend in your back and feeling abdominals working. If you're finding that the hips at the front are taking over, you may need to, if you're not sitting on anything, you may need to actually prop yourself up with something, or you may need to really tune into how your pelvis is moving. So sometimes if the pelvis isn't coming into posterior tilt, it might catch at the front of your hips. So you want to avoid that. We'll do 1 more. So roll back. Might have thrown an extra one in there, but anyway. Okay, so now come forward. All right, so if you're sitting on something, we'll come off it and we'll come to the front of your mat. All right, so again, we're going to take your hands behind the backs of your legs. I'll give you a couple of options here. So we're going to roll down. So eventually we'll end up on our backs. So you can let your pelvis tuck, chest drops, but we'll walk your hands down along the backs of your legs. And what you're looking to feel is your lower back to make contact with your mat first. So lowering all the way down. And then you can let your head rest down. So now if you take your block behind the back of your head. So what we'll do next, again, tuning into your pelvis. So as you're lying down, you'll notice that there's a gap between your lower back and the mat, or a little bit of space. So again, we're going to move the pelvis in such a way that we're taking that gap out of your back. So we're going to, again, orientate the pubic bone up towards your chin. And we'll do that on an out breath. So it's a nice idea to take your hands to the front of your pelvis just for a bit of feedback and to know, or you can take one in front and one behind, just to see if you can feel it in your own body. So again, we're working on an out breath. So breathing in to start. And as you're breathing out, you're letting your pelvis, your pubic bone roll up towards your chin. Your head is going to move as well, so let that happen. And I will return back to neutral. And again, on your out breath, tuck under. So again, feeling the bones of your back touching the mat. Return again. We'll do 3 more like this. So breathe in first. And then on your out breath, tuck under and roll, and just your chin will lift a little bit. That's okay. Let that happen. As you come back to neutral, your chin is going to drop a little bit. So tuck under again. Hold. So we're just kind of giving a little bit of awareness into the abdominals here. We'll go 2 more. And return. And again, tuck. Now we're going to keep the tuck here. All right, so what I want you to focus in on is feeling that your lower back has been sucked down or drawn down into your mat. So you're going to keep that position really, really stable. So we're going to take one leg up. Head is going to stay down. So start with lifting a heel. And then as you breathe out, you're going to keep really steady. So sometimes what can happen is that your body can kind of, it can arch as you lift a leg, we're not going to let that. We're going to try and avoid that anyway. So lift your heel. Don't let your back kick up. So you're going to lift knee over hip. And now we'll go with the second knee over hip. So sometimes, especially when you go to lift the second leg, your back can kind of rise or kick up. So now we'll lower one foot all the way down, again, sucking your back down into your mat. And we lower the next one down. So as you're lowering, you're keeping your feet really light. So lift again. So heel lifts, then foot, and then breathing out to lift the second one. Hold it here, and then lower down. So no matter what your level, if you're doing this right, it should feel a bit challenging. Even if you're really used to doing Pilates, this type of movement, you should, if you're getting it right, you should feel a little, a bit strong in the abdominals. Lower down and lower down. So the next time we lift, we're going to stay lifted. So heel's going to lift, followed by the leg, second one. So now we're going to move your thigh bones on both legs away from you, all right? So it doesn't matter how far you go, as long as your back doesn't arch or kick up. So we're going to move on or out breath. So breathe in first. And as you breathe out, we're going to press away all the time, drawing your back down towards your mat. Pull back in, breathe in. So the closer your thigh bones come towards you, the more you'll feel your back in contact. So you're going to try and keep that contact. You're going to maintain it as you reach your legs away. And it doesn't matter how far they go, even if it's only a little tiny bit, as long as you have your back in contact, that's all that you need. Press out again. And this is challenging the abdominals a little bit more. Breathe in here. Breathe out, press away. And return in. We're going to go 6 more. Breathe out and press. And return. If you do want a little bit more of a challenge, you can reach your arms up. 5. We'll pull in. 4. And pull in. 3. And in. And 2. And we're going to go halfway out now and stop. So if you have your hands up, you can bring them down. So now what we'll do with the thigh bones just a little bit away, we're going to take one foot down towards your mat. Again, not letting your back lift. So tip and lift. So the toes are really light if they make the mat. They don't have to make the mat. And sometimes if you find that when you're lowering your leg that your back is rising, you've gone too far. So shorten your range with your foot. So we're alternating with this. So tip down and lift. And again, down and lift. So breathe out as you lower, breathe in on your lift. So lower down and up. We'll go 6 more here. Tip and up. And 5. 4. So the slower, the better. 3. 2. And we're going to hold it up on 1. So legs are going to stay. Now, you have the option to continue again with the legs. If you want to challenge it a little bit more, we'll raise the arms up. So as one foot lowers down, actually think of sending the fingertips towards the ceiling first. As one foot lowers down, you're going to bring the opposite arm back. Hold, and now return. And now switch. So foot, opposite arm. And try and keep the non-working arm reaching to the ceiling. So tip and lift. So breathe out as you lower, breathe in as you lift. Down and up. 6 more. So remembering to breathe out on the lower, breathe in on the lift. We'll go 4, 3, 2, and now we're going to work with a double down. So you can use your arms back here if you like, or you can return them down. So we're lowering both and lift. So again, as you're reaching your limbs away, your back stays in contact. So reaching with the arms, you're trying to keep your arms as straight as you can. Your toes do not have to touch the floor. And lift. So breathe out and breathe in. 6 more of these. And up. And 5. And lift. 4. And 3. Slowly down. Slowly up. 2. And 1. Lovely. Take your knees in towards your chest here. Brilliant. So now we'll come over to all fours. So you can get rid of your block. So we're definitely going to have knees in line with your hips. I'm going to come up to the front of my mat. Shoulders, your hands can be a little bit further away from your shoulders if needs be, but definitely knees under hips. So to start with, let's let the pelvis tuck. You're rolling your back up. You're pushing your hands down into your mat to create a rounding shape in your back here, holding it. And now come all the way out of that again. So what we'll do here is we'll dip the belly button down, shine your chest out, and let your elbows stay straight as you lift. And we'll come out of that again. So tucking under, letting the belly button lift. So you're pressing your hands down to get your back to bend better between your shoulder blades. And now come out of it again. So belly button drops down, chest shines out, and it's almost like you're trying to pull your arm bones back towards your heels, your thighs, not your heels. Round up again. Yeah, getting body parts mixed up. And now come the other way. So heels towards your thighs, heels of your hands. God, do two more. And lengthen and let your belly button drop down, chest shines out, come back to neutral here. Okay, so if you're happy with your toes tucked under, let's keep them there. So we're in a neutral position with your spine, and on your out breath, we're going to hover your knees. We're going to let them lift just a couple of inches. So we're holding it here. So again, you should feel a little bit into the lower abdominals, holding that, and now lower back down. So breathe in here and hover the knees on your out breath. So you're, and they see it in the movement from the deep abdominals or the lower abs here, holding it and lower back down. Breathe in again. On your out breath, lift, hold, and return back down. We'll do that once more. So again, on your out breath, lift and hold. And now let your knees come all the way down. So let your knees come a little bit further widthwise away from each other. Your toes can come in closer. And we let the pelvis again tuck as you sit your hips back in the direction of your heels. Now with your hands, creep them forwards, but keep your pelvis in the same position. So we're getting a lengthening through your spine. So let's hold that. And now travel forwards. So sit back again. Now keeping your heels where they are, take your two hands over to one corner of your mat. So we're getting a little bit of a side bending position here. Creep the hands as far away from you as you can. Come back to your center. Keep pressing the hips back to the heels as you go in the opposite direction. We'll bring the hands forwards and return all the way up. All right, well done everybody. That's your 15 minutes done. So go off and enjoy the rest of your day now.